Okay, so very informative presentation. I did hear you say that the budget is what keeps you up at night, and about 85% of that is paid to personnel. How much of that do you think you're going to put into training your staff in life-threatening emergencies?
Right, so this question comes up at each one of the sessions that we have, and I understand why the question comes up. We have done additional training with our staff. As I shared the last time, we talked about this at Kilgore.
I never talked about it, so.
You did not, but the person that you're here with did.
But
I'm her mother.
I understand, I'm answering your question. So we've done the training with our staff. We repeat that training with our staff, and we're monitoring that training with them, and we continue to do the same.
Okay, two parts to this.
Sure.
I feel as informative as your presentation was, it was missing some information that I feel is essential to give to parents. She's probably going to cut me off, but I'm still gonna say my piece. So on April 20th, my name is Javen Adams. Hello everyone in the room. On April 26th, my father, Dorian Adams, was the Dean of Students at Cobdell Elementary. He had a heart emergency. This is my 14-year-old brother, my 18-year-old brother. Passed out in the lunchroom in front of everyone, the students that were in there, including staff. Several staff members surrounded him. Nobody did a thing. They let him lie there for 8 minutes. He died. So now we have to grow up without a family. I just want to know what you plan to do so another family doesn't have to end up without a missing piece of their family.
Right. So I honor the hurt that your family has experienced. I really do. And I've done that each time. I understand that it's painful. However, everything that we could do is what we did. So as we move forward, we will continue to do the same work. The information that has been shared with us is the same information that's been shared with you. And as we move forward, we'll continue to monitor to make sure that we're addressing the concerns at the school level.
But I'm concerned about that because the AED is so easy that an 8-year-old can use it and verbal instructions are literally given. So you have teachers that are teaching their students and supposed to be able to educate them, but they can't use a simple AED machine. And keep in mind, it was discharged, right? But it wasn't utilized. So how are you going to make sure that, where's the training in this? I mean, you have a thing of students, you don't have a great ratio of teachers to students. How are you gonna make sure that another parent doesn't have to come and hear some horrible news about their kid and you guys just didn't use a simple machine that is easy enough for a child to use?
Yeah,
On
so
Tuesday, they just had all the students did CPR training at Withrow.
that's correct.
Is
We
that
do-
part of the?
This is new. This is
Okay.
this is a new training that we started with our students, and it's a part of Stop the Bleed. I'm going to answer the rest
Okay.
of her questions, and I'll come
I just
back.
wanted that related.
Yeah,
Right.
not necessarily,
Okay.
but I'm going to answer this question, and I'll come back here. So the requirement for the district is training that is done online. That's been the district requirement even before I got here. How we have continued to grow in that area. Not only is everyone required, and it's each year, to do the training online, but this year we added an additional component to that also included training that was showing how to use the resource by our safety director as well at each of the schools, and we will continue to do that. We do know that the AEDs are available. The state does not require that we have AEDs in schools, but we do have them in our school buildings. And so it's important that we have those there, and we'll continue to do that. This is your last question, ma'am, and then I'm gonna go to the next.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Are they just there, like, but what's the reason of having AEDs if you don't know how to use them? Like, I get that it's not required, but they can save you. So if you have them, like, wouldn't you want to know how to use them, or are they just there for, like, decor?
All of our staff is trained on using AEDs.
8 staff members watched my dad die on the floor.
All of our staff members are
And
trained on
kids.
AEDs. So now I'm gonna go to the next question.
That's
So
fine.
thank you. So your question around Stop the Bleed. So we're doing CPR training and Stop the Bleed training with our students, because it gives them, not only is it a life-saving tactic for them, a life-saving strategy for them, but it also gives them an additional certification. So it goes toward their graduation certification. So that's something that we started last year, and we'll continue to move in that area.
I have a question from my 18-year-old. His name is Dorian Adams, like his dad. He is his dad's best friend. He misses him. He would like to know why no one helped his dad. That is his question. Why no one helped? The AED machine was 5 feet away from where he collapsed in the hallway, and not one rescue breath, not one chest compression, and the AED machine was not used. On top of that, they suffered the trauma of your school. This is his words, not mine. Your school reaching out on Facebook for next of kin, coming up with their dad's plumber who delivered the news to them in the hospital that their dad was dead. They have seen this man 4 times in their life. My daughter, who he stopped at the nurse's station to not be able to go and see her dad, had never seen that man in her life. Your school staff reached out on Facebook and came up with this man. My children are not healing. He says he is not healing because of what your school staff done. You say that they're trained, but the phone call that we all heard from their aunt says by one of your school staff, we have an AED machine, but we just realized that none of us know how to use it. That is unacceptable. My littlest boy, who's 15, wants you to know that his dad is his hero. He wants you to know that. He wants to know why your high school students are required to have CPR, first aid, AED training to graduate, but your staff does not have to be certified. Because if they were certified with 8 people, that his dad could have had a chance to live that day. He wants to know those answers. We have asked them repeatedly. I have kept my children out of this and just addressed you personally, woman to woman. I know you just became the superintendent right before that happened. I really expected honesty from you to say, guess what? I just came into this district. I don't have anything to do with this awful show that's going on right now. But instead, you have told lie after lie. You sent a letter to our family that referred to their dad as Mr. Dean and said, we did not cause it. No, you did not cause it, but your staff was there and you did not look out for his best interest. He was a staff. The kids loved him. He loved them. And he was a good person, a great dad. And you guys owe our children answers. They have questions, and just ignoring us will not make it go away.
So I'm going to say this, and then I am not going to say this again. I'm really not. Because each of our sessions, you come and you do ask
And
me
I will
questions.
continue.
And I understand. I do. Because you are correct. I'm a woman first. I am a mother. I'm a daughter. I am all of those things. I say to you, I am a lifelong educator. So my heart breaks for you and for your children. However, I cannot address your question any other way than I've already addressed it. So what I will share in terms of the professional development that was provided, our general counsel shared with you who was trained in the building. Whether you agree with that or not.
It was none, friends, just so you know. There was not one person of the 8 that had certification, but for an AED machine, you don't need it.
That's
just
correct.
get it off
Yeah.
and use it.
That's correct.
Use
So
it.
the
Those
district-
kids had to watch him die.
So the district required, previously, the district required that the training for the AED was done online, like most school districts do it across the country. It's through a program called Safe Schools, as I shared with you before. That was the requirement. What we've done moving forward is we're not only just requiring that staff review the information on Safe Schools, but that we're also doing an in-person training across all schools with a video that's done by our school district on actual how to take the AED machine and how to use it. Outside of that, I do not have an additional question for you. That's the only answer I have for you, other than to say, I'm sorry. That's all I can give to you. I can't bring him back. If I could, I would.
So would we.
Definitely would.
So
I know
would
that
we.
You would. I know that you would.
Yeah.
But the attack for me doesn't bring him back.
What's going to happen when it's one of your students? That's what we want to know as a family. What's going to happen? He was 49. He lived a lot of life, had a lot left. What is going to happen when those children, instead of just watching a teacher, many kids have said they did nothing to save Mr. Adams. What's going to happen when it's one of their friends? And I know teachers. I teach yoga. They tell me they work in Cincinnati Public School. They have still not have the training, have still not had it.
And
This has been a year.
and I have a
in
hard time with
April.
that. I have a hard time with that because our data says something different. So this is what I would like for you to do. Those teachers that you're talking to that are in Cincinnati Public Schools, because not only have they had the training online, we also had the training at the school sites that school leaders had to sign off that their staff went through the training as well. So if you're communicating with teachers that tell you that's
Every
different,
week?
ask them to email me directly. Ask them to email me directly,
Mhm.
and I will follow up with that information for their school site. Next question. Yes. Go ahead.